Hello and welcome to the place on the internet I talk about comic books. Today I'm going to be answering a question I received online. I'm going to take it on face value that this question was asked in good faith. It amounted to, why do you care? Right? Now, a lot of people see that as highly dismissive deflection, right? It's just meant to take the conversation in a different direction. Hey, we have to stop this war in Israel, and then somebody goes, why do you care if you didn't care about Darfur, right? And it's often used in that way, but it is also a valid line of questioning, is why does this matter so much to you? It's not necessarily a scumbag effort to embarrass somebody or root out hypocrisy. It can be clarifying, right? So let's take it on face value. If I'm not trying to be hired by the big two, why do I care who the big two hires? Because this has been probably 4 videos where I've talked about that. And I thought I explained it, but, listen, I make mistakes. So I'm going to make an effort to clarify here. Comic book stores don't exist without the big two. I sell my goods in comic book stores. If the big two stop publishing tomorrow, every comic book store in the United States either closes or radically transforms into another type of business in days. It is where these companies go the market. Where the market goes, my fortunes go. And for those of you who are very keen on the nouveau self-publishing through Kickstarter or Indiegogo, Zoop, I understand why you would say, that's not me, I don't care about that. If you're so scared, get out of the direct market. I get it. But to establish yourself outside of the direct market, you have to be one of 3 things: exceptionally lucky and hammering on a zeitgeist that nobody else saw. An example of this would be dog N-word that I can't, I'm a white guy, I can't say it, but dog N-word. If you look up that book, that's a self-publishing endeavor that seems very successful from the outside because it tapped a vein. And people didn't see that. There's no way to anticipate that. I'm not saying it was lucky because it was hard work, but it's something you can't replicate, right? You could never build it into your own plan. Oh, I'm going to tap the vein of something that you can't do that. So that's A. B would be you're overcapitalized and intelligent, because being simply moneyed up in comic books is actually probably a faster race to the bottom. But if you have money to outlast some storms, plus you're smart enough to navigate them, you could potentially become a successful self-publisher, selling direct to consumer or doing some form of crowdfunding. Certainly like Pat Shand, right? That gentleman has navigated a very tricky self-publishing landscape by simply reinvesting in himself every time, right? So small successes beget slightly larger successes, and you're looking at a decade of hard work, right? That guy is not just good with figuring out what his audience wants, he's good with his money, he's good with a business plan, smart fella. Not all of us have that. And then the third thing that might save you from having to be in the direct market is your name. If you have established, for example, Warren Ellis. Warren Ellis got canceled in the direct market, meaning that publishers still want to work with him but don't feel like they can. Retailers would buy his books in a second, but they need the go-ahead from publishers to get the okay that it's okay again to publish Warren Ellis, to sell Warren Ellis. Trust me, everybody wants Warren Ellis back. You can feel how you want about whatever his behavior was, but just speaking plainly, everybody would appreciate the Warren Ellis economic bump. So Warren Ellis, in my personal opinion, completely fumbled the bag, probably traumatized from being, ushered out of the only thing that he's ever done well. he fumbled that bag by not going immediately into self-publishing, waiting 1 year and saying, hey, everybody, I understand that there's some bad feeling about me in the market, but this is what I do. Nothing's separating me from what I do. I'm going to be self-publishing some books. Here's where you can get them directly from me or through a crowdfunder, through fulfillment, whatever it is. But I'm putting my money where my mouth is. There's people that will continue to work with me because I'm one of the best of the, last quarter century or whatever. So he, in my opinion, I'm not him. Maybe he had better things to do. Maybe he was investing in Bitcoin. I don't fucking know. But he could have made a lot of money that way because you're trading on your name, right? If you have big hits and big hits in creative spaces, like, not to hammer a guy, but somebody like Dan Slott, somebody like Gail Simone, these like corporate, people who, whenever they've tried to do it outside of that framework, or in Slott's case, I don't even know if he has, but that type of creator, that's a question mark. Doesn't mean that they wouldn't do well, and I wish them well if they seek to try it, but it would be a real question mark. Less of a question mark is somebody who didn't just do well at Image, or do well at Boom, but they did well at Image or Boom 4 times. Tynan's a good example. He just launched something and made crazy fucking money on it, right? That's because his name, which he carried from the big two, then reestablished and reinforced by going to independent publishers, creator-owned publishers. He now is his own business. But if you haven't had a Batman followed with Something is Killing the Children, making your own name and living off of it is a 10, 20-year proposition. Doesn't mean it's not worth doing, but it's just, this is me giving you the honest lay of the land for the people that say, oh, if the direct market's so broken, do your own thing. Yeah, all right, Doug. I do my own thing all the time, I assure you. I'm self-publishing early next year. I'm always doing my own thing, but don't talk about things that I know, right? I know quite well what it takes to break even. I have a very unique means of selling direct. I don't even have to mail things if I don't choose. I play 100 shows a year. My audience, some of them are interested in comic books. They can come to my shows and buy my work. It's not an avenue everybody has. Imagine, for example, that you are a regular-ass introvert, a comic book creator, nothing remarkable about you to sell except for your work. You're not great with the words in person. You're not a personality. You're an artist. And now you're told, hey, the only way that you can sell this shit is by doing 20 conventions a year. And you're looking at the math and you say, okay, but that doesn't add up. And they go, oh, no, we didn't mean you'd make money this year. You'll make money in 3 years because then you'll be on the scene and people will know you. Blah, blah, blah. No. The average person cannot do this. The average person does not have the capital. Let's just be honest, right? So to take a loss for 3 years, maybe find a venture capitalist and your vault or whatever, but for the individual creator, stop. So this notion that we can all just pivot to self-publishing as a full-time endeavor, as supplemental, I think it's a great idea. As a full-time endeavor, it's few and far between the people that can manage that. So the majority of us have to work through comic book stores. So out of both necessity and because many of us grew up in them, we have good relationships with comic book stores. We try to foster those relationships, and those are our partners, right? Maybe even more so than publishers in some respects. So why does it matter who Marvel hires? Okay, if there is a 10% drop in the number of people that come into a comic book store, that might compound for me. Do you understand? Trying to stay ahead of changing the commercial landscape, for example, publishers leaving Diamond, with previews having been the previous industry standard on how people find out about books ahead and order ahead. That no longer being as powerful a thing has impact. The idea that stores are going to be in contraction and are going to order more conservatively, has major impact. And if the major publishers are hiring creators who are not connecting with their intended audiences, therefore depressing the market even more than a recession, then I'm getting fucked in my ass. I want you to just put it through your heads that there is no green place for creator-owned people. It is 10 places that are muddy. It is a catch-as-catch-can business. It is difficult, and respectfully, hearing, why do you care about these other publishers? I have to. Listen, I love Spider-Man. He's my boy. But I don't care what's happening with Spider-Man in 2024. I only care about this because it's my money. It's my money. It's the amount of eyeballs that will come into a store and trip over my work. It's the amount of eyeballs that are excited about comics in general. And we can lament this all day. We can say, oh, but Marvel doesn't even represent comic books in 2024. We can say, oh, those not even doing good work. Why do you care about that reader? Because everybody starts somewhere. Everybody goes through the most open gate, the most open doorway to things, and then they narrow into their own niches, and maybe they have tributaries. Maybe there's 5 different directions that they go, and it's no longer the most open gate, but they try all these different things. But they have to come through a gate, and that gate often is Marvel. For example, to make it like music. If you're a little bit younger than me, there's an excellent chance that your introduction to heavy music is Korn. Right? Now, I can sit here all day and go, oh, Korn sucks. Why would anybody? It doesn't matter. What Korn did is it funneled people into this idea of heavier things. They then pursued those in different directions that suited them. And now you have, entire hardcore scenes in the middle of the country that are in the shadow of this kind of like stadium band at one point that people sort of think is corny. But it influenced these kids to get involved in heavy music. Marvel inspires people to pursue other things in comics. Oh, you know what? I like that creator. I don't really care about Moon Knight, but I like that creator. What is he doing? Oh, he's got this other book. Right. Okay. So you got to understand, one thing leads into another thing. Root to branch. We need a healthy ecosystem here. And when you ask why I care, it's because this is my career. I need every part of it to be operating as effectively and efficiently as possible. And when you tell me, hey, you don't want to work for the companies, why does it matter to you, man? Unless you do want to work for the companies, dog. It's just a matter of industry health. Not everybody wants to write Spider-Man. You got to get it out of your head that there's any type of mountain here in comics. If you are a diehard Wednesday Warrior, Marvel Zombie or DC Acolyte, you might think that's the top of the mountain. There is no mountain and there is no top, and that's not how it works. We're all out here trying to build our own little plateaus that we can live on. I have to care. I don't want to care. I have to care. So while I see some people trying to tear Marvel and DC down, we could call these accelerationists, people who want the whole thing to fail. I can't have that. I can't have that. The foundation of the thing is not strong enough to support a partial collapse. You know what I mean? If it goes, it goes. The comic book stores will not survive. So I got to care. That's it. Don't want to care, but here I am. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for asking. Continue to ask questions in the comment section, and if I see them and I have the moment, I will reply. Thank you.